right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A transportation crisis worsens.
We have to come together as parents to help each other.
Tonight, parents scramble for a plan B as St. Louis schools lose even more buses on the eve of the first day of school.
The big story for us is that it's a quiet week ahead, but we're not going to feel like August. Why this dew point trend is important and what our lowest temperature is going to be in the middle of August.
First tonight, breaking news. Gunshots ring out in Maryland Heights, the chaotic scene at a busy gas station. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Within the last 30 minutes, we learned one man is dead, another in police custody. The shooting happened just a few hours ago at the Circle K at the corner of Dorset and McKelvey, just off 270. Annie Krall has been on the scene all evening and joins us now with the latest. Annie.
Mike, multiple people who I spoke with said they saw a man lying in the parking lot of that Circle K, saying he was covered in blood. And in fact, we were trying to take a look at what this scene looked like just a few hours ago. You'll see that there was a large police presence here at that Circle K in Maryland Heights, right off of Dorset and McKelvey Road. Witnesses telling us in the shooting that it happened around 6 p.m., hearing two pops while they were in the Walgreens across the street. By 7 o'clock, drivers who had pulled in to get gas were still stuck behind police tape in their cars. In fact, they were trying to get interviewed by officers and detectives, learning more about what had happened. One man who told us said he was in his car getting it washed, and then nearby, he didn't want to get on camera with us, but said he saw a man lying in that parking lot and he was heavily bleeding. We now know that that was a 37-year-old man who was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. We also know now a 25-year-old man was taken into custody by police here on site, and it's a very popular business area here on Dorset and McKelvey Road. There's a Nandy's Frozen Custard not far, there's a Chick-fil-A, and of course some of you might remember there's that Dobbs Tire and Auto Center that had a deadly shooting as well in January of last year, all just a few hundred yards apart from each other. The shooting that happened back in January of 2023 resulted from one employee of the Dobbs shooting and killing another employee on January 4th. Police said it was Reginald Brandy and Deshaun Johnson who got into an argument at work when Johnson shot Brandy multiple times, and unfortunately he later died from his injuries. He's set to go to trial on second-degree murder charges in October. And we want to talk about tonight's investigation again. So far, we don't have an identity of that victim or even that suspect, no possible motive either coming from police, but they did tell us they recovered a handgun from this site. And one man who I spoke with said he walks his dog on this sidewalk almost every single night, and it's a very different neighborhood come nightfall. He's actually moving in the next few weeks with his pregnant girlfriend because of how uneasy he feels out here. Reporting live in Maryland Heights, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
And the latest information tomorrow on Today in St. Louis. And tomorrow is the first day of classes for St. Louis Public Schools. And tonight, more transportation troubles may leave hundreds of more students stuck at the bus stop. The district now says one of its vendors can no longer provide buses for the first day. The company, Extra Care Transportation, says it can deliver the 6 buses it promised, but not until next week. Another vendor, Shuttle Pro, says it's now giving the district 25 buses instead of the 45 it planned. This affects nearly 1,800 students.
This is what we do. We are a student transportation provider. Okay, and it is very important to me, and I want the community to know, it is very important to me that these students receive the transportation, safe transportation, reliable transportation that they are entitled to.
This week we've learned SLPS will provide before and after care at all elementary schools starting tomorrow. And St. Louis Public Schools family spent the weekend trying to get ready for the first day of school tomorrow, but some parents still don't know how their kids are going to get there. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski talked with parents and community groups in the last few hours of summer break. Laura.
Mike, the transportation issue has certainly been a headache for the district and especially for the parents, but there is some support out there, not only from the community, but other parents as well.
My son, he's 8, and my daughter, she's 5.
Lakeisha Burton says the beginning of a new school year is always stressful. Her 2 kids head off to kindergarten and 3rd grade this year.
Yeah, it's been expensive, but like I said, I think about higher power because I got people in my life that care about me and my kids.
Which is why she's thankful for community events like the Urban League's Back to School and Job Fair gathering.
That's all we needed was the book bags. They already have everything that they need. It was just the book bags. And, you know, I came across getting a job, utility assistant, so it all worked out for the best.
The Urban League also provided free haircuts, food, and other assistance, especially as parents face issues getting their kids to and from school.
And as a program that does serve, we're trying our best to figure out what it is that we can do to help support, whether it's our clients that's come to look for jobs that just need gas cards in a vehicle to help, or bus tickets for those that's riding the bus, or whatever we can do to help. You know, we're here to support. We can do as much as we can.
Tracy Fantini from the SLPS Parent Action Council says they've started a Facebook group called SLPS Families Carpool Connection because they are worried about kids not making it to school.
We have to come together as parents to help each other. And I want to be an example of that, you know, for the kids, but, you know, also just for other parents to show a way that they can help.
Fantini says she'll also be volunteering at the Bartmer and Hamilton Avenue school bus stop for the Adopt a Stop program. Those volunteers will have bright safety vests like hers.
We want to make sure that kids have a friendly, caring person who is able to look out for them as they get on and off the bus.
They still need about 20 volunteers for the Adopt a Stop program, and if you need a carpool, they want those parents to join the Facebook group so families can connect to one another, and we'll have information about both of those on KSDK.com.
Now to our weather impact forecast. After a pleasant weekend, meteorologist Gary Frank is here to show us what we can expect come Monday.
Yeah, back to work or school. Either way, it's excellent. And that's good news as we continue the trend from the weekend. As we look outside right now, it's still very nice as we look downtown and many other spots. As you finish the day in Wentzville, Larry, one of our 5 on Your Side weather watchers, shared this great sunset over a very green yard, which will remain green as we've had rain, even though it will be pretty dry this week. It's still very pleasant. There's a lot of green when it comes to temperatures as it's cooling off nicely. 60s for Arnold, Eureka, 70 in Troy as we continue to see either light breezes or light breezes out of the north. That's a good direction for August for sure. Now, throughout the rest of the next few hours, we're going to continue to look at cool mornings ahead for the next couple of days. 50s and 60s with lower humidity. You're going to look at mid-60s overnight with lower humidity for the first part of the week and really most of the week. There is a slight chance for rain, but as far as impacts this week, we got a lot of green lights. That's good for back to work or school, but we'll talk about some of the minute changes, the coolest mornings we're in store for before we return to more of an August-like forecast.
All right, Gary, thanks. New tonight, we're learning 2 men were critically injured in an early morning shooting just south of downtown. This happened at the BP gas station on South Broadway around 6 this morning. Police say the 2 victims were driven to the hospital by 2 other men. They told investigators they were all sitting in a car when they heard gunshots. No arrests have been made. Right now, we're trying to learn more about a fire that engulfed a house in Troy, Illinois this afternoon. Fire crews responded to the building at around 1 p.m. Crews were still on the scene 3 hours later. We know there were 2 people living in the house at the time. Police or first responders haven't said yet if anyone was hurt. Tonight, Officer Travis Brown's family gave an update on his condition as more support floods in. The family posted on their GoFundMe page that Brown was battling pneumonia the last few days, and today was the first day he hasn't had a fever. Brown is still in a coma after being knocked down during a protest in Ferguson 10 days ago. His chief talked to 5 on Your Side's Mark Maxwell.
Travis has been in an unconscious state, so obviously he cannot communicate, but yeah.
What would you want to say to him if the first words he could hear you say?
Man, we love you.
Right now, Brown's family, the GoFundMe, has more than $140,000. Residents are hitting the pavement on Jefferson Avenue, advocating for pedestrian safety. The road will be a part of a $46 million improvement project on multiple St. Louis streets. City officials are planning for resurfacing, lane configuration, restriping, traffic signal retiming, and much more. A group of residents walked for more than 2 miles, pointing out areas for improvement, which some say could be life-saving.
People deserve to be here safely. I've experienced a lot of dangerous intersections and just dangerous drivers who sometimes are just reckless, and whether it's intentional or not, it still endangers people.
Construction for the massive improvement project will start this fall and wrap up the fall of 2026. All eyes are on Chicago as the Democratic National Convention starts tomorrow. President Joe Biden will address the DNC on night one. Tonight we're learning some of the other faces that will be stepping onto the stage. Former First Lady Michelle Obama will address the DNC on Tuesday. She'll speak on the same night as her husband, former President Barack Obama. While they prepare to speak inside, the venue is preparing for protests outside with upgraded security measures. Chicago is bringing over 300 officers from across Illinois and Milwaukee to help secure the United Center.
No matter the number of people who show up here in Chicago to protest, that they do it peacefully. They're exercising their First Amendment rights. But we want them to understand that criminal activity cannot and will not be tolerated in the city.
Some Chicago businesses are already boarding up as a precaution. And 5 on Your Side's political editor Mark Maxwell will report live from the convention every night this week. You can catch his reports on air, online, and streaming on 5+. An 8-year-old battling cancer facing it head-on with her entire class. The thousands of dollars raised by third graders. The road to recovery leading one man towards the road to victory.
He's going to be a champion.
A story of resilience in the wake of a terrible accident, driving a dream to compete for Team USA.
As we continue to look ahead this week, the impact for us is that there's not much going on. However, it will get hot again at some point in August. We'll talk about how long we can enjoy some cooler fall-like temperatures before this above average stuff heads our way again.